And look, here's the individual fan right here. Isn't that neat? And I saw pictures of this. Let me show you. Look, there's a bug screen right here. It's coming straight from the road, and here's a bug screen. Disconnected the fan wires from this connection block here, and I color coded them, so I know how they go back together. I need to color code these, so this would be yellow and red, and I'm gonna leave that alone. So I'll just call that black. There's the back of the motor right here, and here's the collar. It came loose, and there it is. I'm glad I took it out. I don't think this thing's ever been out, ever even been worked on, but I'm gonna see if it works, and then try to get it apart and lubricate it. Let's tear into this motor and lubricate it, check out the condition of the brushes, and basically clean it up really good. So after labeling these wires, color coding them to match what's in the car, I'm going to take off this collar, and that gives us access to be able to pull this thing out. Got the clamp bolt and nut off and cleaned up. Got the clamp off. I'll clean it up later. Now what I'm doing is I got to take this screw out, and there are 3 screws. Yeah, 3 screws. Looks like it holds this motor in. Getting these screws out, these 3 screws holding this electric motor in this housing, here's what they look like, have proven to be quite a challenge. I need a PB blaster to sit there for a while and be very careful with these things, but they will come out. This one right here was spinning, and I could, these little things here look like little mounting fins, these things here, but they're rubber. And I was turning the screw, just turning and just in place, not going anywhere, and I could feel something turning in here with the screw. So I clamped it down with the vice grip pliers, this rubber thing, and now this has gained purchase, and it is coming out. Look at that. Yeah, so I'll pass that on to you. This thing has been in here a long time. Threads are in good shape, so there must be something in there that's doing that. So let's pull this out and look at it. Look at this thing. There's an inner sheath, and this sheath moves, and I can't get the motor out because the sheath wants to slide with the motor and clamp the wire in place. So what I'm trying to do now is pull the wire through this hole, and then I should be able to pull it out, sleeve and all. There's no way to get the motor out of this primary shroud. It sits in this one, and this sits inside of here, and because of this indentation for this collar, the fan blades will not fit past that one way or the other. So overnight I had this hole, the screw and this collar, and these nuts right here and the screws in the front of the motor soaking in PB Blaster and Kroll. So now what I'm going to try to do is get this little bitty screw right here undone. So let's see how that goes. Tiniest of screwdrivers. This thing turns, so I'm going to have to reach in and hold it with my hands, tip it forward and try to get good purchase on here. Okay, here we go. Oh, it broke loose. Alright, there it is, a little set screw coming off of this. Now the next, oh, look at that. It's okay. There it is. We'll put it in our little thing. And now the next thing is try to get this fan off. I'll have to probably rig up some sort of a puller. Well, I can't get a perfect triangular symmetry on here because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bladed fan, and the spacing in between these fins doesn't allow for a perfect perpendicular. But I think it's moving, so let me see what I can do here. Soaking with Kroll and PB Blaster really did the trick. Okay, now the thing's not in the bottom of the, not in the center, but it's still coming up. Okay, continues to move up. That's really good. And the fan is off, and you can see how rusted that shaft is, and that was the problem. I'm cleaning as I go, so I've cleaned all these washers and these screws in here, and the bolt, clamping bolt, and the screws that hold this thing into the shroud here. Now I'm getting ready to clean up this fan. So just one piece at a time here. More pieces cleaned. Here's a few pieces cleaned and painted. Now for the motor. 7mm nut and a slotted screwdriver here on this end, and we'll extract these. Rusted. It's sticky. I doubt very seriously if this has ever been taken apart. It came apart with a little persuasion. There's a bearing in there I was interested in. Here's a little thrust washer there, which probably acting as a shim. Which I'll clean up that bearing in there and grease it. Here's the pickups right here for the brushes. See here. Here are the brushes right here, and they are spring loaded. See a little coil right here? Let me sit this thing right over here so I can actually see. Yeah, okay. See this little coil here? This is a spring holding in the brushes. It's really quite elegant little motor. Brushes have a lot of life left in them, so I'm just going to clean that up. Yeah, I don't think any further disassembly is going to be required for this motor. Just need to clean it up really good, and lubricate the end of that bearing, that shaft, bearing on the shaft. And up here, this is, I could probably drop some oil right in there, let it seep down. That looks like a metal bushing that's riding in. And we'll put a little grease down inside this bearing cup here. There we go. Don't need a lot. The end of this shaft that goes into this bearing cup here feels nice and smooth, so I'm not going to have to do any cleaning up of that. But I will probably put a little oil right here, although it was not making any noise. I don't want to sling a lot of oil in here. It not good for it. So I think after I put that spacer washer in there, this is ready to go back together. I've already sprayed electric cleaner all down inside here on the brushes and inside the motor and the armature and all that. I don't have a replacement grommet here, but I can repair that and make one. So let's go ahead and do that with this little rubber thing you just cut the end off of to thread down the wire, and then some liquid tape. Let's do that. Alright, there's my homemade grommet going in there for the wiring for this motor. Let's see if we can't get all this stuff back together now. You can tell how this goes back together from where the wire is permanently kind of bent this way, and it goes through this indentation here, and the way this little holder here is like a little wing for the airflow is shaped. And if you tip this up, you can see the shadow of how they were. So you know that's how it goes back. Now, reassemble this thing. You just have to kind of line stuff up. Okay, here's the hole for the electrical wire. Here's a hole for electrical wire here. And here are these holes that line up here. And then if you look on the inside, there are marks, telltale marks left from this in there so you can see how the orientation was. It goes along with that. Okay, so let's just see about putting this thing in. There, that's the way it goes. So now you put this up there so it's right, everything's sort of lining up pretty good. Now, because of the way these things are oriented, first thing you do is put this wire through these holes here. Try to hold it together with your hand. And the way these things are oriented, just keep kind of pulling it through there. Okay, now let's see. Probably like this would be better. Okay, so this has to, there's a matter of lining these things up and holding everything with one hand and doing it with the other. There we go. Oh, that's in there. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is kind of get one screw started. Here they are, all cleaned up. I'm not going to tighten it, just get it started. There we go. Let's move over here to this other side. Oh, there we go. Now they're lining up, so you can see that hole here lining up. Okay, another screw in there. Again, just to get started to help line things up. Okay, roll this rascal over here. Push this in place. There we go. This was the stubborn one. Now it's okay. It's cooperating. That's what we like around here, is cooperation. I don't understand why this fan is constructed this way. They call this inner piece sort of a shroud, or I think it's to provide maximum bore size for air movement, but at the same time allow a close fan fit for a tunnel effect, to be my guess. But it's kind of a complicated assembly. This one seems to be spinning on the inside like it did before, so I might have to reach in here and hold it. A pair of vice grips. Let's just see about this one. Okay, this one is tightening up. Very good. And about this one. Yep. Alright, so I'll show you what I do about this. This one right here that won't tighten up. See, it's just spinning in there. I can feel it with my fingers. So let's do this. Vice grips. Alright, let's see what that's like. All right. There, that worked. All right, it's good and tight now. Excellent. Make sure these little fins are all pointing straight. They are. Now the next thing to do is put on this fan. Here's the fan. This is such a tight fit on here. Look at that. That is just so tight. But you know see how easy this is to come off, and before it was I really had to work at it because it was all rusted on there. Let me find the flat spot. See, here's the flat spot. So let me, for this set screw. Okay, let's just kind of set it down on there and push this thing home. There we go. Okay. Now I can see the flat spot here, so what I'm going to do is hold this shaft, rotate the fan. There. Now I can pull it up to the end here. There we go. And now we can tighten it down with appropriate screwdriver, which I need to go get. So we'll take care of that. The moment of truth. Let's test the fan. Okay, this right here is going to be high speed, low speed. And notice it's spinning more freely now. Let's put out the low. There's the low speed. And then here's your high speed. Pretty neat, huh? Okay, low speed from this angle. It's blowing the other way like it's supposed to. And then low speed. Alright. This side's done. I just need to put it back in the car. And I'll have to do the other side.